Hey, good morning, class. If you missed our Zoom meeting this morning, I miss seeing you, miss connecting with you, but I'm going to go over what we talked about and kind of give you the schedule for what you should have already started doing yesterday and what you should be doing today, tomorrow, and Friday. All right, let's get going. All right, I'm going to take us to Google Classroom. And as we get there, this is again something you guys should be doing each day, especially Sunday night. Come and check out the stream. You'll see announcements like yesterday I posted we had a Zoom meeting. On Monday I said snow day, so come check those things out in the stream. Then go to the classwork page and check out all of the things that we have going on, especially the daily slides. All right, so I'm going to open these up, have us take a look at what's going on this week as I scratch my nose. All right, it opens up. All of these contacts are here for you guys. Hopefully this is old stuff. You're like, oh my gosh, yeah, I know how to do that. I'm going to take us all the way down to week 10. That's slide 40. See, Monday, I made a note. It was a snow day. It's also my wife's birthday, so great coincidence. And then Tuesday, I asked you guys to respond to powerful quotes number 7. All right, that's how it's about how no story is all stories need to be heard. And so it's about sharing your story. And then I need you guys to watch the video on PTSD and then respond to the questions, especially because today in our Zoom class, I went over what I'm looking for in my responses or from your responses. I also talked about literary device number 6. So I'll show you guys that as well. So let's go there. All right. So literary device number 6 is this one, right? It's alliteration. That is the repeating of consonant sounds at the beginning of words. Consonants are the opposite of vowels. They're the F's, the C's, the D's. All right. So my example comes from the Spider-Man soundtrack in the song Familia by Nicki Minaj. I know there are other artists. I just picked her as the main one to pick on because she's crazy. All right, so Father, Father, unforgivable. This is my house, you made it personal. It's always trouble when you go too far. Nobody mess with my family. So it's all the F's, F's, F's. But then the could you bless his soul? He's talking crazy. I may lose control. All right, so the repeating consonants, it helps create a rhythm. Authors use literary devices to help you make connections. Alliteration helps you feel the rhythm. And when you feel things, you connect to them. All right. It also makes you feel the frustration. So Father, Father, unforgivable. Something bad's happened. You're supposed to feel the frustration that Spider-Man's feeling there. And then you've gone too far. All right. You're out of reach. All right. Crazy, could, control, punch hard, face. Oh, it's frustration. That's what the author of the song wants you to feel. All right. Which helps you connect with the reading. So hopefully you go in and you respond to this because only 17 of you have. So hopefully more of you guys go and do that. And then I went and showed the powerful quote. A lot of you guys, as you're doing this, I'm getting one sentence. I want more than that. So no story lives unless someone wants to listen. All right. I want to listen to all of your stories. So hopefully you guys are listening to Ishmael's stories because it brings it to life. Then what I want to know is what that means to you. And when you answer that, give me personal experiences. All right. Tell me what exactly it means to you. So now we've kind of gone through our warm up. I've talked about our warm up for Monday. Hopefully you are reading and finishing chapters 11 through 14 in the double entry journal there. I would love for you guys to turn that in. I'm talking about all of these learning targets. Okay, you can go back and read them on your own. All right, now I'm going to talk about my favorite no. All right, so this hopefully will help you be able to write a better response paragraph. All right, so Do you think Ishmael Bey is going to suffer from PTSD because of his time fighting as a child soldier? Was our main question. All right. That's what I'm hoping you're going to answer. Now, as you're answering that, I need you to look at the requirements. All right. Some of you guys, I'm not sure you are. Some of you guys did a great job attempting it. All right. So you need to have evidence from the video and from the book. So you need to take this book and go and give me evidence. Obviously, you don't have the copy I have. You have a PDF, but you can copy and paste from there, which is super easy. All right, so no excuses. This needs to be in the form of a CERC, so I'm going to go over that really quickly, what I mean. All right, evidence can be anything you see and experience in a video or in your real life. All right, just need to have those examples in there. Or what you read in a book, a short story, or article. Obviously, for this prompt, it needs to be from the book, or it needs to be from the video, or actually it needs the book and the video. All right, so I give my example here. All right, this is directly one of your students' examples. It says, I think that Ishmael Bey is going to suffer from PTSD because of his time fighting as a child soldier. At night, some of them wake up from nightmares, swearing, screaming, and punching their own heads to drive out the images that continue to torment them even when they're no longer asleep. This is a piece of evidence from the book that explains the reason why Ishmael Bey is going to suffer from PTSD. Ishmael Bey went through a traumatic experience while in his childhood. This is why I think he's going to suffer from PTSD. All right, phenomenal attempt at a response, but here's what I want to see to improve it. All right, so add in a hook. All right, you want everyone to be able to connect to what you're reading. You want them to think, okay, I'm going to read this. You have to pretend like they have never experienced anything from Ishmael Bey or PTSD before. It's like they found your response for some freaking reason on the floor at the supermarket. Now, COVID times, you don't pick that up, but weird people still do. And you want that weird person to read your entire response, because our main goal as a writer is to get read, for people to connect to us. And so you want to do things like this. Say something like, imagine your world falling apart. You once had a family, friends, and food always on the table, but now it's all gone. This works as a great hook because no matter what, people can imagine the situation due to the fact that it either has happened to them or they can, or it could happen to them, so they fear it. This allows people to connect with your hook and they want to keep reading. So they go and they go, oh my gosh, I'm going to keep reading. I've started imagining this. And so after that, instead of having the claim, all right, like our classmate has, where it says, I think Ishmael Bey is going to suffer from PTSD because of the time fighting as a child soldier, instead of saying I think and then starting to answer the prompt, cut that part out for now and give a little bit of background knowledge on the topic being addressed. Restate the important parts of the prompt that your readers need to know about. So some of the things you need to restate are, what is PTSD? Post-traumatic stress disorder, kind of define what that is. Child soldiers, what are they? Who is Ishmael Bey? All of this stuff, because you have to pretend like whoever's reading it doesn't know anything. And you need to help them know it. You need to show how, you need to teach them. You're the teacher in this, basically. So make it quick by writing something like this. Anyone who loses everything in his or her own life will be at risk of suffering from post-traumatic stress. This is defined as, and then give your definition. You can pull that directly from the video you watched. Ishmael Bey, the author of A Long Way Gone, so now we know who he is, loses everything when he's forced to become a child soldier. Child soldiers are, and you give your definition. We've watched a couple of videos on that. And so you can say, here's what a child soldier is. Use your knowledge, be smart, be the teacher. All right, now you're ready for your claim. So you have to kind of prepare your readers to get ready for your argument. Otherwise, you might state your argument and they go, I don't care. And they stop reading and you've lost. All right, so you say something like, due to his time as a child soldier, Ishmael Bey, the author of A Long Way Gone, is sure to suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder. All right, so again, give some background knowledge before you go into your claim. Then you go into your claim, and your claim should transition from that background knowledge. So I want you guys to notice something. All right, when you say your claim needs to transition from your background knowledge section and make a statement that clearly supports and argues the prompt with key details that sets up the rest of your response, you're doing something like this. So I'm going back up to slide 6 here, and I say, due to his time as a child soldier, well, if I've done my background knowledge here, I've just defined what child soldiering is. So they connect, all right? So back down to slide 8, and then pro tip on your claim here. All right, so you've connected them by saying due to his time as a child soldier, which you just defined what child soldiering is, so it all connects, it flows together. Pro tip, never say I think, I believe, or I feel. Okay, because who wrote this? The author wrote this. And so by saying I think, I feel, I believe, you're being redundant. Good writers only need to say what they need to say once. All right. So if you are writing it, it's repeating yourself if you say, I think, I feel, I believe, because obviously you're making a statement that Ishmael Bey is going to or is not going to suffer from PTSD. So you think that you feel that, you don't need to write that you think or feel it. You're just saying it. Okay. So don't be redundant. You're writing the paragraph. So of course you think, believe, or feel that way. You don't need to say it. All right. Repeated myself several times because hitting it home. I'm not writing it. If I were writing, I'd only do it once. All right, then a decent response paragraph to any prompt then has the claim looking like this, okay? Your claim, again, needs to transition like I was saying. So due to his time as a child soldier, that connects directly to the background knowledge, Ishmael Bey, the author of A Long Way Gone, is sure to suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder because, and then here's what you need to do. You're going to insert your key details from A Long Way Gone and the video. All right, so you're going to say, because he has dreams of killing people, which we directly see in chapter 2. And then, and in the video, you give a key detail from the video. That way, when you go to entering in your evidence, you've already clued in your readers a little bit about what you're talking about. So then you transition to your first key detail. Provide evidence. Evidence can be from A Long Way Gone and from the video, obviously. Saying that a couple times just to be clear. Being a little redundant, that's because this is a video. Here are some sentence starters. So in A Long Way Gone, Ishmael Bey states, and then you can say, I was having dreams. All right. Chapter 2 is a huge key that he's going to have post-traumatic stress, because right in chapter 14, chapter 15, he's not out of the woods yet. He's still fighting as a child soldier. But that quote that our classmate gives us is also a great one to show that, like, the kids are already suffering. They're smoking pot, they're doing drugs, they're trying to numb the pain. You can use all of that as evidence. And then you can also say something like, in the video, TED Ed states, and you give a quote from the video about what post-traumatic stress is. And then you need to explain why they matter, because you just giving the quote doesn't prove your point. So think of it this way. You've asked your parents if you can go to the movies on Friday night, pre-COVID times. Obviously, movies aren't open. Sucks. Whatevs. It's life. Okay, so you've asked to go to the movies and your parents are like, well, why should I let you? And you're like, well, here's evidence. I've made my bed. I've cleaned my room. I've done my chores. And they're going to go, well, why does that matter? So you've given all of this evidence. You've given 3 pieces of evidence. And you're going to say, well, clearly, when I make my bed, it shows I'm responsible, because responsible people make their beds. I've cleaned my room. That also shows I'm responsible because I take care of my things. I can't remember what I said for the third one, but You get my point. You're showing that you're responsible, and then you say, therefore, responsible people will always be home on time. So therefore, let me go to the movies. So you need to explain why your evidence matters. You can't just give your evidence and say, see, I'm right. You have to give your evidence and tell them why it matters so that they understand how you're right. So you can say things like this. You're explaining how the evidence matters to the claim in 3 clear sentences. The more, the better. You're showing how smart you are. So sentence starters might be like this. This quote clearly demonstrates how Ishmael Bey is going to suffer from PTSD because, or it is clear he will or will not, and I'm doing the little dash there because some people might not think he's going to suffer from PTSD, because in the video it says, give a little example, which means, so if we go up to our paragraph here, all right, we have the quote, at night, some of them wake up from nightmares, sweating, screaming, and punching their own heads to drive out the images that continue to torment them even when they are no longer asleep. This quote clearly demonstrates children suffering from trauma. This leads me to understand that Ishmael Bey is going to suffer from post-traumatic stress, because if kids are already suffering from it, there's no reason to think he will not suffer from it as well. All right. See how I did that? I unpacked it. I made it clear. And then I can even be a little bit more specific and say things like post-traumatic stress affects him in other ways than just losing sleep because he chooses not to sleep much. He talks about how he never sleeps. He doesn't sleep because he's using all these drugs. Well, that's another form of numbing the pain. All right. So that once he stops, he's going to have to face these dreams. And we've already seen in chapter 2, he's facing that. Does that make sense? You want to unpack your thinking on the quotes. All right. So you've used these sentence stems, and then you finish by restating the main claim of your essay, remind your readers what your argument was, and then leave your readers with a mic drop moment. All right. So maybe challenge them to help people with PTSD. Finally, what I want to know is, what are 2 things you can do to improve your prompts? All right. So let me know. What are 2 things you can do to improve your prompts? And then lastly, what you need to do is go to post-traumatic stress. Do you think Ishmael Bey will suffer from it? And redo your assignment, make them better, or actually do it, 26 of you who haven't, redo and improve. Okay. If you have any questions, email me, text me. Thank you guys. Take care.